Hey everybody. Um, I don't know if any of you are paying any attention to what's happening down in Arizona. I got a daughter that lives down there, and I also have a brother that's down there right now. But I spent about 22, 25 years down there myself in the Mesa, in the Valley area, Mesa, Tempe, Phoenix, and it came out uh, on the news that that valley has now become the most dangerous place to live in the United States. And now, that would seem pretty logical because you're right there on the Mexican border. You're right there where the drug lords are running drugs across the border and stuff. You got your gang members from both sides of the border living in that valley area, dealing their dope. Um, a lot of them are illegal, so even if they get caught, I knew guys they would stand right on the street corner and sell cocaine. And they were illegal people from Mexico. They didn't have no papers or anything. And they'd come in there and bust them. They'd take their cocaine, take them back down to the Mexican border and turn them loose. Well, them guys would be back up on the corner selling cocaine before the cops got back that took them to the border and dropped them off. They'd be back up there and selling more dope on that same corner. And these guys wouldn't go to prison or jail, people, because they were illegals. They would just be picked up and taken back to the border. That was it. They had more ways of getting back to the valley quicker than the cops could. But those kind of things been going on down there forever. And you would think that is the reason why it's the most dangerous place in the country. But that doesn't even have nothing to do with it. It's the cops. There's already been I can't remember how far back it goes, but there's 38 police officers involved in shootings. I think it's this year or in the last 6 months or something like that. I can't remember exactly everything the news station was saying about it. But there's 38 of them right now that's it's either been fired or on paid vacation because they're shooting people and they're beating the hell out of them. One guy they pulled over because he had I think they claimed it was a license plate light out. They pulled him over for that. By the time he was done, he needed stitches through his face because they beat him with a damn taser. They beat him in the head and shit with a taser in his hand. The cop did. Now, this cop that did that, he had already done this about 3 other times to some other people. Now, I'm telling you guys this because I know for a fact one of the first years I lived in Arizona, clear back in like 85, I think it was, 85 or 86. Uh, I used to smoke pot. Used to do a lot of things. I mean, I was raised in the 60s and 70s where the government was pushing acid and quaaludes and stuff like that onto the kids. Basically, there was acid everywhere, mescaline, which was another form of acid. It was everywhere, and they had things that were called they were downers, but they were called roars. They were called quaaludes. They were called lemon 714s. But these pills were on the market like crazy. You eat one of them, and it was like you drank a 6 pack or whatever, a beer. You eat 2 or 3 of them, you's even worse. But these were man-made drugs, government-made drugs that were everywhere. So I was doing drug. I never did do heroin, people. I did just about every damn thing else, but I never shot anything in my arms or body, and I never did heroin, never, ever. But I did about everything else you could do from the 60s up to about the 90s. And I did used to smoke a lot of pot. And we went over to a guy that we met to get some weed. And this guy's house, man, he had this Mesa SWAT team. It was all over his apartment. Now, we stopped and watched. And we knew he was busted. He was going to jail and shit. So the next day we were just talking about it, and I said, hell, I'm going to give him a call. And I called his phone number, and he answered the phone. I said, what's going on, man? You ain't in jail? He goes, no, why? I said, man, we saw it last night, man. Mesa SWAT team was all over your apartment shit. He goes, you saw that? And I said, yeah, we did. He goes, don't ever fucking talk about that again on his phone, man. So I didn't mention it no more on the phone, but I talked to him later. Man, he had gotten busted by the Mesa SWAT team for selling dope, and they made him one of their salesmen. So he no longer was selling for the people he was selling for when he got busted by the Mesa SWAT team. He's now selling for them. And the DEA was getting ready to come in there and bust his ass, and they called up the SWAT team and was wanting them to go in there with them and help them. And they went in there 2 days before the bust and moved that guy to another apartment on the other side of town. That's what he told me later. So, and believe me, people, we used to have them Mike Tyson fight parties. And, man, we lived in the desert where fireworks and shit was illegal. You couldn't have them there. Well, we went down in Mexico and bought a bunch of fireworks, brought it back up to Arizona. And we were having a Mike Tyson fight party. Bunch of people there, a bunch of people I knew, a bunch of people my friends knew. Was all invited. Smoking pot. I'm sure there was some cocaine being snorted somewhere or whatever, a lot of drinking. We start firing off fireworks. The neighbors call on us, of course, because it's illegal as hell to do in the desert. Cops come. 3/4 of the people at the party were cops. They walked out, talked to the cops that showed up. That cops left, and we went back to shooting off fireworks. So I've been around both sides, evil people and good people, most of my life. And it didn't matter if they had a badge on their chest or not. It did not matter. I've sat in a police car drinking a beer with a sheriff deputy sitting on the side of the road. He's watching for speeders. And I was sitting in a police car with him drinking a beer with him. Believe it or not, people, I don't care. It was up in Wyoming. Little one-horse town, but it was still a deputy, and it was still on the side of the road. We was still in a police car. So I've known a lot of cops. I've known a lot of deputies. I've known a lot of law enforcement, and I've known a lot of other bad people too. Not just bad cops, bad people, period. You could see the death in their eyes, where they've killed people. That's why I always tell people, look into my eyes, because I can look into your eyes and tell what kind of a person you are. So that's why I always tell people, look into my eyes. Do you see any fear? Do you see me as an evil person? You see me as a good person? Because I can see it in your eyes. And if you think you can't, people, you're crazy. It stands out like a sore thumb in your eyes. So that's why I always say, look into my eyes, people. Do you think I'm kidding? Do you think I'm playing? But anyway, the cops in Arizona have made it the most dangerous place to live, because the chances are they're going to either beat the hell out of you or shoot your ass. They're out of control. Same place where that cop used his AR-15 and shot that guy in the hallway in the motel. The guy was begging for his life, and that guy shot him like 6-7 times. The guy wasn't even armed, nothing. He was crawling on the floor, begging for his life, begging him not to shoot him, and they did it anyway. and the guy is still a cop. Qualified immunity protects his ass. Bringing up qualified immunity, that's something I'd want to talk about too. Colorado is putting together legislation that takes all qualified immunity away from all law enforcement officers. Now, I don't know if they got it passed or not, but I do know they're working on it. If they get that passed, that'll be a good thing, people. And it's going to hold these cops. They can be sued up to $25,000 per incident out of their own pocket, not out of the taxpayer pocket, out of their own pocket. And that's the way it should be, folks. If it was like that, these damn cops wouldn't be overstepping their bounds ever. Ever. And then we need to take away the fact that they investigate themselves. That's the same stupid shit Obama did when he let Iran investigate their own nuclear weapons facilities. And that's the same problem we have in our country because our government investigates itself. It ain't going to find no wrongdoing, people. Do you not understand this shit? If they think there's going to be some wrongdoing done by them, they pass laws to make it not a wrongdoing. They make it so it's legal for them to do it. That's all they have to do. It's ridiculous, people. If our country, our military walked into any other country and did what our country, our own government has done to us, it would be considered an act of war and there would be a battle going on. Unless the people just turned over and rolled over and did nothing like we did. If you don't think what the government has done to us has been an act of war against us, they're destroying your economy, they're destroying your country, they're taking your Constitution is laying in ashes where they set it on fire when Trump turned his control of this country over to FEMA and the United Nations. Trump did that. And then said how it was it was good for him to be your president, but he was no longer your president from that point on. When he suspended your Constitution, people, that took care of all your rights. And they're not even using the military to do it. They're using the medical field. They're using the words epidemic on the end of other words in order to get you to give up everything, and you've done it. And you've done it. These people telling you what's going on are nothing more than other men, and they are no smarter or no better or they have no more authority than you have. And they certainly don't have authority over your life to tell you to shut your business down, to lose everything you've got and that you've worked for your entire life. Just throw it away because they say so. They don't have that authority, people. And as far as I'm concerned, with what the medical field did to my dad before he died, especially with that damn test that he didn't even need, with what the medical field is doing to me right now, telling me they're going to cut me off of the pills they say that keeps me alive because I can't wear a mask in their own offices, that they know if I wear a mask, it could put me in the hospital or kill me. They've taken away my CDL so I can make a living driving my semi anymore. They took away my painting business out in Arizona. I had to file because of my heart surgeries and all these damn doctors. Oh, we can fix it. You just got to get this doctor to do it. And I did it 3 damn times. I ended up having to file bankruptcy on over $150,000 in medical bills, people. That wasn't counting what the government my insurance paid. These doctors made millions off of me. And they made millions off of my dad in his lifetime. Millions off of him and his insurance companies. And that's what they've become. They've become a money organization. And the elitists, I'm sure, are all wrapped up into that. Anything that's got any money, they're going to take control of it. We don't want you to have any damn money. And if you don't think this is an act of war, what our government has done to us, people, that proves the brainwashing that you are under. That proves it. The 16th Amendment, people, you can't even own property. Do you understand that? And they did this to you. And you're still following them around like a little puppy dog. Like they're going to protect you. They're the ones that are going to kill you, folks. That's their whole agenda. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. 500 million people on earth is all they want. That means they got to kill off 6.7 billion people. Do you guys not understand this? I don't get it. I don't get it. They carved it in stone, and it's standing in Georgia. It's been there since the 80s. If you don't think this stuff is an act of war on us people, what do you think it is? Who's losing? They aren't. You're just going to give it all, aren't you? Just going to give it all up, aren't you? And that's going to let them take everything else away from me. Because you guys won't even fight for your own selves. Batman and Robin ain't going to show up, people. Iron Man ain't going to show up. The Hulk is not going to show up. Captain America is not going to show up. Wonder Woman is not going to show up. None of these fake heroes that you think are going to save you are not going to show up. The one guy you guys have been claiming for 4 years was going to save you and that he was anointed by God is doing more damage than you guys even understand. You don't think he's done anything wrong. You're going to find out. You're going to find out how much help he's been for the elitist. Watch and see. Now you got old Biden. Now he wants your guns. And he's going to put that one clown that said they're going to come after all your guns. He's going to be the guy he's going to put in charge of all that shit, just like he said. And he's already calling it a gun violence epidemic. Don't see this coming, though, people. All you patriots, just sit back. The NRA is going to protect your rights. Well, folks, that's my rant for today. May God bless us all, because that's the only way we're getting out of this. And some of you make it pretty damn hard, but make no mistake, God loves you, and so do I. Thank you.